Hello, my Teaserking family. How's everybody doing? Let's just talk a little bit about what's going on, and then we'll get into baseball, football. And I know baseball will do real quick because some of the games start at 7 and then 8. I don't understand. Apparently, like gold's about to go through the roof from what I was watching on my YouTube channel. They one of the distributors said that the banks are buying gold and silver, just a ton of it. And when that happens, why are they buying it? Number one. And then there's only so much supply. When the supply runs out, demand is going up, supply runs out, price goes up. That's just simple economics, right? If more people want a Mickey Mantle card than there are Mickey Mantle cards, the card goes up. The Jordan rookie, the Mantle rookie, why do you think that's $10 million? There's not a lot of it. So that's what really supply and demand is. If there's a little supply, there's only a few, it'll have a great value. If there's a lot, it'll have a small value. That's why when I talk about inflation and the dollars, you've got a lot of dollars, so of course the value goes down. And anyway, so gold is about to really go through the roof. Again, it's safety for your money, but we're going to get a double hit. Not only are we getting our money out of dollars as that goes to zero, we're getting it into gold, and gold has to go up because everything else goes up because the dollar takes more dollars to buy the gold. Then I heard a question about, well, what happens when the U.S. reserve currency goes out and then there's a new currency? Will gold's value drop? And it's like, no, gold just happens to be valued in U.S. dollars now. And when they come out with the new currencies, gold will be valued in that. It'll be, like I say, I'll take an ounce of gold, I'll buy a Mercedes. That's what gold is. It's money, and it will always hold its value because it is money. And the paper crap that they give us is crap. It's just paper. It's not real. It's not money. It's just so I can go to Target and buy shampoo. I got to pay for, they want me to give them money to buy the shampoo. Basically, that's it. And we all chose the U.S. dollar that's going out with all these wars. This whole Pelosi thing, I'm like, what the fuck is she going there for? And why is she making a big deal? You want to go? Go. I go to Vegas. I want to go to Amsterdam. I go to Amsterdam. I don't sit there and alert the press. You get on a plane and you go. So I didn't understand that. She was there for a day. What did she go for? Why couldn't she do what I'm doing? Just only do a Teams or a Skype and say, hi, Prime Minister of Taiwan, keep us coming with the computer chips. So why she went, it's all planned. It was all part of a game. It's all to create tension. Why, I don't know. I don't know what the end game is. But I do know that George Soros and China are behind it. They are the ones who are controlling everything. So it's whatever's best for them. Anyway, buy your gold, buy your silver before you can't buy it, and it's going to go through the roof, and it's going to go through the roof soon. Again, I can't give a date. It's not like a game where I know it's Saturday. I know tonight there's baseball games, and I know I'm going to get a result. I can't do that with this. All right, let's get to some baseball. Miami, Chicago has already been played. Let's see who won. I would have played it under, but let's see what really happened. And it was under 2-1. Finally, the 3.0 ERA is held up. See, I think that because the season's so long that the pitchers tend to get tired, which then allows for more hitting and more runs, and I think we're seeing that. All right, Pitt at Baltimore. I don't have a game time yet. Where's my game times? Sometimes they've got to make sure they throw all the commercials in. Okay. So game time 7:05 at 6:50. Got 50 minutes. I'm not really playing this one. Pittsburgh's got such a weak lineup. They lost the starter. Baltimore is the better team here. I don't know who Dean Kramer is. So I'm not going to bet it. Washington, Philly, 2 overs. I'm going to go over on this game. I don't want those. Let's go over on Washington, Philadelphia. What's today? 8-3? No, it's 8-5. All right. Yeah, let's go over Washington, Philly. Two bad pitchers, and Philly over 9. Houston and Cleveland. Of course, I hope everybody had the Verlander lock. It's just an automatic. Verlander's pitching, you lock Houston, he wins. Today they got Valdez 9-4 with a 2.8 against Hunter Gaddis, who doesn't even have an ERA. Let's just play Houston. Tampa and Detroit. Corey Kluber 7-6 against Brian Garcia. Let's play Tampa Bay. Kluber's been hot lately, and he's starting to get better. I don't know who this Brian Garcia is. He's got a 5.0 ERA. Tampa's got weak hitting. Detroit's got no hitting, so probably an under. Under is 8. But with these ERAs of 4 and 5, I can't go under. Atlanta and the Mets, we got over under 8.5. Ian Anderson for Atlanta, 4.99 ERA against Taijuan Walker, 9-2 at the 2.79. We're taking the Jets, Jets. Good God. NYM. We're taking the NYMs, the Jets. Chicago, Texas. Here's my lone lock. Take the White Sox. It's a lock. You've got their ace on the mound going against 4-7, 5.50 ERA. Texas guy, over under 7.5. I don't trust the I'm not going to play an under. It's clearly ace against 5, and that's when you take the ace. You don't fuck with over-unders there. Boston KC, over under 9. Winkowski, 4-5 with a 5 ERA against Zach Greinke, 3-6 with a 4.41. He's really fallen. We're going Boston over 9. I just like they got good hitting. Neither team's got any pitching, and KC's starting to hit a little bit. So let's go over the 9 here. Again, I don't really love KC, and it's not in Boston, but the pitching's so bad here that I just feel they'll score runs. Cincinnati, Milwaukee. Cincinnati's been pretty hot. Duggar for Cincinnati, 0-0 with a 4.5, and Eric Lauer, 7-3 with the 3.75. I'm going to pass on the game. I have no idea. Toronto, Minnesota. We got Jose Berrios, 8-4 with a 4.96 against Tyler Mahle, 5-7 with 4.40. Over under 8.5. Let's go over Toronto. Over 8.5. Take the Maple Leafs. They get 8.5 goals here. St. Louis and the Yankees. That's a good one. We've got Nestor Cortez for the Yanks, 9-3 with the 2.53 against Dakota Hudson, 6-6 with the 4.10. It's really a no play. I mean, you could probably get away with the Yankees, but in St. Louis, I'm not going to play this game. I don't know over under. My bet would be over with the Yankees, but I'm just laying this alone. Let's see what happens for tomorrow. Colorado, Arizona. We got Marquez for Colorado, 6-9 with the 5.29 against Baumgartner, 6-10 with a 3.83. And again, this would be easy Baumgartner on the Niners, but I don't know. He's 6-10 with a 3.83. I can't bet him. This is an unbettable game. Maybe an over if you were wanting to bet it. California, Seattle. Now, my friend asked me, I said, take California. He says, who's California? I go, it's the California Angels. For 100 years, it's been the California Angels. Rod Carew, Reggie Jackson, Nolan Ryan. I mean, come on. It's California, means the Angels. LA will be the Dodgers. Just the Mets are not the Yankees. The Jets are the Mets. So, you know me with my pet names here. So over under a 7 seems awfully low. We got Sandoval 3-7 with the 3.61 for California. Robbie Ray 8-8 with the 4.11. I mean, this looks like an obvious over. You got a guy 3-7, and see, here's what my problem is with Oki pitching one game and then playing the field the next 4. Not only doesn't he rest to get ready to pitch again, he's not 100% to play. So what the hell are they doing? You've got to, if Babe Ruth couldn't do it. Nobody can. I mean, you just stick the guy in the outfield, get a pitcher. He's not that good of a pitcher anyway. If he's that good of a pitcher, get him out of the outfield, So anyway, I don't know. I guess Trout's out. So I'm going to lay away. Don't like the pitchers. And the last one is the Chargers and the Rams in LA. We got over under 8.5. We got Sean Manea, 6-5 with a 4.25 for San Diego, and Gonzalez 12-1 with a 2.41. We're going to take the Rams, or you can call them the Dodgers. We're taking LA. So to go over the picks, Philly over 9, Houston, Tampa Bay, the Mets, the White Sox is the lock, Boston over 9, Toronto over 8.5, and LA. The lock is at 8.05, so it's turning on to 7. So I will repeat this a couple more times as we get into the nitty gritty. Emerald Flame. Hello, Emerald. Austrian Economics, I appreciate your intelligence, wisdom, and insight, TK. We'll be looking for your wisdom as things escalate. Meanwhile, I've been checking out your site and picks. Thanks a million. It's my pleasure, Emerald. I am strictly here as the professor from Money Heist, although I'm not from Money Heist, but I have a lot in common with him. I love to teach. I have a master's in Austrian Economics. I understand perfectly what's going on, and I am not here to sell you gold and silver like half the guys on YouTube trying to make a sale and scare you. I am telling you what's really going on. Here's the truth. This is it. The more you print, the less it's worth. The only way to hold your value, you don't have to buy gold and silver. You can certainly buy Mickey Mantle or Jordan cards. That's assets. You can buy jewelry, diamonds, that's assets. You can buy Picassos, those are assets. Any real asset will hold its value. It'll take more dollars to buy it because the dollars are paper. So, Emerald, that's what we have. If you want, check my video on the Bulls last year. I was like 19-2, and it's all on the video. So you can watch my December video, I think middle of December. I went through every ball game. I have 8 locks, and I went 8 for 0. And I had 2 locks that didn't make it because of COVID, UCLA over and Miami of Florida over, which I was upset because those I really loved. So watch that video. You'll see the results, and then you go, this guy hit fucking 8 locks. Downplay, do you have any locks for baseball today and any unders you like? Don, I'll go through it again because I know time is of the essence. Philadelphia over 9, Houston, Tampa Bay, the NYJET, I don't know, I'm sorry, the Jets, or we'll call them the Mets. The lock is the White Sox, Boston over 9, Toronto over 8.5, and LA. Why are you looking for an under? I took Astros because of you. Oh, there you go. Take Verlander. You can't lose with Verlander. I was surprised McCullough lost with Tampa, but you might be getting tired. You got to be careful. It's a long season. These guys aren't used to it. Verlander is, even though he's older. But I don't really I like the under in the Miami game, but that was at 2:00. I mean, if you really want it, why do you want an under over and over? Does it really matter? Let me see if I can find you an under real quick. Let's see. See a bunch of pitchers, 5.0, 4.1, 4.5, 3.7, 4.9, 4.4. The Yankees can't go under with them. Again, Colorado's a 5.2 against a 4. You got LA, the Angels, Seattle, you got 3, 6, and 4. In San Diego, you got 4, 2, and 2. So I don't see it. I like going under when I have 2 pitchers with an ERA like under 3.5. The closest I would say is Houston, but I don't know who Hunter Gaddis is, and therefore, if the guy gives up 10 runs, there goes your under. You just like the unders. Well, just keep an open mind. Once you go over, you're over. The unders are sweating, and I know we get that in football, except for when it's Georgia. When it's Georgia, we went under, and we just sat back, and fourth quarter, and it's 10-0, and our over under is 55, and it was great. But you can only play unders with very weak hitting teams like Pittsburgh, Detroit, or with Verlander against McCullough. When you see that matchup, you're going to play it under. Verlander against the Yankees or Houston against the Yankees all went under, which is surprising. But as I say, a good pitcher will always stop good hitting. So you've got to understand that. And, so that's where you're going with it. Always playing the good pitcher. That's why I like the good pitcher. And that's why I like betting against the weak pitcher, because he sucks. But what's happening is these pitchers with 4.5 ERAs are shutting out the other team. Is he that good of a pitcher? Is the other team just doesn't have any hitting? And it's amazing if you go through the box scores, how many players on the team. I was listening to the Tiger game yesterday. I'm in Detroit, and there was 4 guys on Tampa that didn't hit 210, and they still won the game 5-2. But I mean, yeah, they get hits, but do you really want a 170, 180 hitter in Major League Baseball? What is all that about? Anyway, Teaser King. Everything's posted. I just finished the passwords. I got to go in each year and redate it because now it's 22, not 21. Super Bowl is middle of February 23. So I got to make sure when you buy, you get a password, and then you go into the picks. You need the password to get the picks, and that's the password you get when you buy. So, but I got to make sure I got the right week. I'm ending my weeks on Monday this year. You already have the Monday night game, and this way I tend to put out games on Monday for the following week because I get a good line. I notice the over-unders in football switch. There'll be a 52, and it'll be 56 by Tuesday. So if we can catch that, that's the price manipulation as we see in gold and silver in football. They'll keep the over and under really low, and then they bet it on Sunday night and Monday, and then Tuesday they figure, okay, everybody's starting to look at it. But that's why you come to me, is I already look at it, and I post it on Monday, and you get it Monday at midnight. You'll get the next week's games. Or my customers, I tend to, if I got a lock going, like Miami's playing Wake Forest and it's 55, I'll lock it. And I'll email you and saying, okay, I already played this lock, play it as soon as possible. And it should be easier with these apps. I don't use them. I use a bookie, or if I'm in Vegas, I'll just go right up to the sports book. White Sox, you lock, got it. Yeah, they're ace against the 5th pitcher on whoever they're playing. So that's a pretty automatic. He won for us last, I think Sunday we locked Chase for the White Sox, and that won. So, yeah, they're pretty good. They're a good team, and that's what you get. But keep in mind, the players are getting tired. It's every day for, it's April, May, June, July. Now we're in August. So it's been 4 months of baseball. The pitchers are getting tired. They're getting hurt. The relievers. It's funny. They're only pitching these guys 5 innings, and they're still getting hurt, which is my whole point. I could pitch a lot more than 100 pitches. I didn't need to sit out. I always hated that pitch count. It was just coming out when I was like 12. And, the coach would pull me, and I'd be like, well, I'm fine. I can go another 3 innings. What are you doing? And that was, little league, but still I didn't like the price, the count. One more time. It's getting close to 7:15 when the first games go off. Philly over 9, Houston, Tampa Bay, the Mets, we're locking the White Sox, Boston over 9, Toronto over 8.5, and the Dodgers. And when I say California, I mean the Angels. I had to go through that story because I couldn't believe it. All right, let's go through football preview. Football preview. We ended up at the Big Ten. So we are doing Conference USA, and we're going to do the MAC. And in Conference USA, they do have some independents stuck in there. So we'll go through. There's not a lot, but Notre Dame and stuff. Anyway, Conference USA is UAB, my Roadrunners, UTSA, which is Texas San Antonio, Western Kentucky, which always has a great quarterback, UTEP, the Florida Atlantics, the Florida International, North Texas, Charlotte, Middle Tennessee, All Tech, Louisiana Tech, Rice, and Florida. So they go from Alabama, Florida, Charlotte, and Texas. What kind of war? And Louisiana's in there. Yeah, Rice is in Houston. What kind of crazy division is this? Best quarterback, Frank Harris, UTSA. They lost my man, Sonorse Moncrief, I think. Went to the Raiders. They're sitting them out this year. Unbelievable. But they apparently still have good runners, so it shouldn't affect them. Second best is Chris Reynolds from Charlotte, and third best, Dylan Hopkins from UAB. UAB is a very good team, even though they had to sit out a year or two on probation or whatever they did. They are a very good team. So, best running back, UAB's McBride and UTEP Alwatt. And then Charlotte's got a good runner. Rice has a good runner. North Texas, Florida International. I'm not going to read the names because I don't know them. I know Frank Harris from UTSA, and I know Chris Reynolds from Charlotte. Outside of that, I don't know. What I tend to do is look at the defense teams. So on the first team, there's 2 UTEP guys, there's 2 UTSAs, there's 2 UABs, there's 2 Florida Atlantics. That shows you who has good defense. And that's what you really are looking for. Then there's a couple more UTEPs on the second team, and there's a couple more UTSAs on the second and third team. So it shows you who's got it, but we'll get into that. All right, Charlotte. More passing, kind of a running quarterback. They're an over team, weak pass defense, and a new coordinator. So they're an over team. They're going to light it up. They scored 27 a game, gave up 34. Their quarterback's back. Now I look at the quarterback stats, and if I can find them, he, this is what I like: 26 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, 2,700 yards, and the runner wasn't that good, 635. He's back. He's just a sophomore. The coach, 3 years. So they open with Florida Atlantic. Should be an over game. But that's what you look for. What is the team? And here you're seeing good quarterback, no defense, no pass defense. And also I look for, so I'm looking at the stats, right? Also what I'm looking for is Baylor balance. I'm looking for a team that runs for 2 and passes for 2. You cannot defend that. Because wherever you put the odd man, if you put them in the secondary, they run. If you put them on 8 in the box, they're going to pass on you, and they can do it. So like a Baylor, like Oklahoma State. That's why Baylor should have been in the playoffs. They would have done better than Cincinnati. Florida Atlantic, coach stinks. Willie Taggart, he was at South Florida when he had my man Quentin Flowers. He sucked, and then he brought in Flowers. Why didn't you bring in Flowers 5 games ago? And Flowers lit it up, but I don't think Taggart was all that good. He went somewhere else. I think he went to Florida State. He sucked, and now he's here, and he's terrible. They have a running quarterback, Perry, who was the quarterback at Miami. So they should be they're an even team. They scored 25, give up 25, but they should be better. The Perry, the quarterback, 20 touchdowns and 7 picks. So, again, a decent quarterback. And get this, the coach's son, Willie Taggart Jr., is the backup quarterback. Like, really? Like, if he went to Delaware, would he be the backup quarterback? So, I don't that's kind of weird that you have your son. My son would be at a different college. I mean, unless he was a real good player, I'd let somebody else coach him. I don't want to, what am I going to do? Florida International. So there's Florida Atlantic, there's Florida International. The Florida Atlantic coach is Taggart, and the Florida International is Mike McIntyre, who I believe was at Stanford or one of those Pac schools, Pac-10s. So he's not a bad coach, but he's got nothing to work with. Again, they scored 20 and give up 40. So they're a Z team. Terrible defense. So you look at when they play good, like they play Texas State week 2. That's going to be an over for sure. Or no, that's Texas State. I'm thinking Texas Tech. We'll get to Texas State, see if they're a good offense. But you're looking for good quarterbacks and over teams. You got to have the matchup to play it. So you want a matchup where it favors this guy. Like if they play Charlotte, did they play Charlotte? Yeah, okay, October 22nd. And they play UTSA the 14th. See, that's going to be a lock if we get a good over-under, because Charlotte with Reynolds, he's going to score. He's going to put up 50 points, but they don't really have a good defense. But Florida International, their quarterback was 155 yards, so you got a new quarterback. Actually, they got the guy from Duke who sucked. I looked at him. He was like 10 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, so he's no bargain. I love when these guys transfer, and then the team, good, we got the guy from Duke who sucked last year. Good God. So Florida Atlantic's really bad, really weak quarterback, but a really weak defense. So again, against Houston, against teams that can really score, UCLA would murder this team. Miami of Florida, and we need a schedule break. All right, so they're a Z team. Louisiana Tech, I've got them as I thought I was marking this. I got them as a W team. What's a W team, Teaser King? W teams, they score 28, give up 34. So they can score a little bit more. Like a Z team scores 20, gives up 40. No offense, terrible defense. A W team is bad, but they can score and they still give up 34. So they score a little bit more. If they scored in the 30s and gave up 30, they'd be an over team. We're expecting a high-scoring game. It's the expectations that you have in there. So Louisiana Tech, new coach from Texas Tech. They're going to be spread offense. It's an over. New quarterback is from TCU. So watch Louisiana Tech. This is the team that Vegas will never catch. Great offense. Quarterbacks from TCU, so he's good. They scored 28, give up 34. They open with Missouri. That's going to be a real strong play over in that game. Let's check just for my class, my students. What do we got? Tech, Missouri in week 1. Excuse me, there's so many games and I haven't. Usually I can kind of memorize where they are in the sheet after looking at them and looking at them and looking at them. Come on, Tech, Missouri. Where is it? Here it is. So what we have here is Missouri's a 21-point favorite. Okay. Over under of 59. Now, I have Missouri as an over team, and I have Louisiana Tech as an over team. And it's only 59. There you go, Don Play. That's when you want an over. 59, you tease it to 53. The game's over by halftime with these two teams. 7-14. I got to do baseball one more time. I think the game started 7:15. So Philadelphia over 9, Houston, Tampa Bay, the New York Mets, the White Sox are the lock, Boston over 9, Toronto over 8.5, and the Dodgers. Those are our picks for tonight. The locks, White Sox, that goes off at 8. All right, back to the good thing. So you have a explosive Louisiana Tech with a quarterback from TCU, so it's not going to be a big thing for him. The defense gives up 34, and they are not balanced. So if you don't know a team, you look at the stats. Well, maybe let's look at Florida International. They passed for 264 a game, ran for 102. They're obviously a passing team, and they can't run the ball. So you can tell just by looking at those numbers what type of team it is. And that's what's crucial. Middle Tennessee State, new offensive line, a new offensive coordinator, running quarterback, air raid offense. They're an over team. They've been an over team the last 5 years. They score 30, give up 26. Chase Cunningham, 16 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That's what we want. See, that's what's important is touchdowns, interceptions. The other doesn't matter. That's what I laugh when these guys on the radio or TV, it's like, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. That's what you look at because that's the important thing. Are they going to score for you and are they going to turn the ball over? That's how you lose. You lose because their defense stops you because your quarterback throws 5 interceptions. You look back at the 68 Jets. They do the little thing on them, and the 68 Jets, and they were losing. And they were playing the worst teams like Denver. And Namath threw 5 interceptions to the worst team. They sucked. They were 20-point favorites, but he threw 5 interceptions. He lose the game. And they're like, Joe, what the hell are you doing? Like, stop. The only way they had the best defense, the only way they can lose is if he throws the interceptions and a couple were returned for pick sixes. You go to your strength, name it your quick release, short passing, and let the defense win the game for you. But he wanted to throw, and then he finally learned. That's how they won the Super Bowl. He ran the ball. And by the way, that Super Bowl, the defensive coordinators were Chuck Noll, Steelers, and Buddy Ryan. We all know Buddy with the 84 defense. Those are the 2 defensive coordinators in the game, and you wonder why the score is 16-7. So Chase Cunningham, 16 touchdowns, 3 picks. They score a lot, and they're going to a more open offense. Now, that'll hurt their defense because the more quickly you throw, you don't rest your own defense. That's why it's good to have some running. North Texas. I have North Texas as an even. They score 27, give up 27. Now, they're more of a running team, but they are fairly balanced. Now, here you look at it. They run for 233 a game and pass for 197. They're pretty damn balanced. Not a great quarterback. The coach is back, so they're not going to screw up anything. Balanced offense, average quarterback, and they definitely run the ball more. Let's see. The running back is a new one, but they'll still be a running offense. Even I think the quarterback runs a little bit. And they open at UTEP. But anyway, so they're going to run the ball. This is a team that'll get you upsets because they run the ball. This is the team that upset my UTSA, 45-23. They must have ran it 1,000 times. But if you have a good running team, you keep the ball away like Army and Navy, like Army against Oklahoma and Army against Michigan. They ran the ball, kept it away, and scored, and they took them both to overtime. And here's, Michigan. I remember some guy bet me on air. Wisconsin was laying 14 or 15, and he's laughing at me. Oh, Wisconsin, I'll take the Army. And it was like a 7-point game where Wisconsin won, and Army fumbled at the goal line, or they would have tied up the game. So a good running team with a decent defense is the ones that you got to be careful of. You have a superstar quarterback, he doesn't get the ball because they're going to run it down your throat, and their defense gets tired, and then the 5-minute drives or 8-minute drives, and then the guy doesn't have the ball much. Then a couple of picks, and there's your upset. That's how the upsets happen. So we're very careful. We are looking for good passing quarterbacks versus weak defenses. That is the key to betting everything in any sport. You bet against the defense. So anyway, that's North Texas. The quarterback's okay. 9 touchdowns and 9 picks, but they run a lot. So they win despite him being a garbage quarterback. Rice is a Z team. 21 points a game, and they give up 36. So here's Rice. They run for 250, but they only pass for 211, or they run for 150. So they can run a little, but they pass, so they're okay, but they suck. They only score 21, but they give up 36, so they're getting a lot of opportunities. Wiley Green's the quarterback, 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Enough said. I don't know. Is he back? I see TJ McMahon, and okay. So it's between these two. I got weak defense, weak pass defense, new quarterback, run offense under. So they're probably switching to a running offense because it's really, you have better chances winning with the running offense because I just got to hand it off and get a few blocks, tire the other team out, keep the ball away from them. I can win. I can't win with a bad quarterback who throws 5 incompletions and 6 interceptions. So Rice, I got him as a Z team, but be careful. Let's see. They're going to run more. Let's see how that works. I don't know. I just think they're terrible. And again, I got a week. Oh, here you go. At USC the first week. Now, this is a big number. It's 35. I was hoping for 28. So you got to be careful. But I would guarantee USC wins by 60 points. Guys, first game, right? Coach, quarterback, first game playing freaking Rice. He's going to look to run it up because he wants to make a good first impression. Look for USC to bury Rice. Rice can't do anything. They can't run on USC. Maybe they can run on North Texas. They ain't going to run on USC. They have no quarterback, so USC is just going to blitz every down. They're going to run into it. No yard. They won't even get 100 yards rushing, and they certainly won't get 100 yards passing. And USC is going to want to get used to this offense, so they're going to throw and throw and throw. Look for the quarterback to play the first half, and then the second teamer, he'll want to get experience with it, so they're going to keep throwing. They're not going to okay, we're up 52-0. We're going to pull everybody and run. They're going to keep throwing. Look what he did at Oklahoma. So look for Oklahoma to kill Rice. But that's what we want. There's no way Rice can upset USC because USC's got much firepower. Rice doesn't have the defense to it, nor do they have like a star quarterback who might be able to keep them in. They can't run against USC. Their defense sucks. So USC, what are they going to do? They're going to score. They're going to have 35 in the first quarter. They'll cover you. So there's nothing Rice can really do in this game. It's not – if USC was playing Georgia, our money would be on Georgia because USC wouldn't do shit. So it depends on the defense. That's the key to it. UAB. Now, I don't know who UAB is, and I looked at this, and I go, fuck, this is a good team. They're a B team. Running quarterback, good running back, balanced offense. This running back, Dwayne McBride, 1,371 yards last year. 13 touchdowns. Dylan Hopkins, the quarterback, 18 touchdowns and 7 picks. Talk about balance, rushing 180, passing 206. That's exactly what I want. I got a balanced offense. I got an 1,400-yard rusher and a quarterback that's a senior that's not going to, go crazy. 29 points a game. They give up 23. So a little bit high on defense in this division, but look for UAB. They always say you don't get a thing. They're at Alabama. They're hosting Alabama A&M. So they win 62-0. You got to throw the game out. And then they go at Liberty, which will be a good game for them. But I would take the dog in that game. If you get 7 points with UAB against the Liberty, you take 13. They get Rice. They're going to kill Rice. They get Charlotte will be a good game. Western Kentucky. UTSA will be a good game. And they close, Jesus Christ, at LSU. Are you serious? Wow, they're playing LSU. LSU's going to kill this team. All right, UTEP, no running. Average quarterback, they're an E team. They score 25 a game. They give up 25. You can't get much more even than that. They run for 140, pass for 250. So there's your basic, we're going to throw the ball more. They're not balanced. That hurts. Quarterback, Hardinson, 18 touchdowns, 13 picks, average. The guy rushed for 844 yards is back. Nothing exciting. Average. Against a good team, they'll get killed. Should I take UTEP money line week 0? I don't know. See, I'm not a money line player. I'm a teaser player. So what are you asking? UTEP. Well, okay. I got North Texas -2. I don't know what the money line is. I don't pay attention to it. I look at, I understand it's even, but what are your odds? Are you gaining anything even? Now, the odds on you winning with UTEP +8 are 90%. The odds on you winning an even game with the home dog are probably about 60% in this case, because UTEP, I think, is the better team than North Texas. And but in my world, I'm going to take the 8 points, and I'm laying 110, 111, depending if it's William Hill, it's even money in a college teaser. So it depends what it is, but I guess it would determine what are you getting. You're probably laying 110 on an even bet on a 2-point dog. Maybe, but I'd rather take the 8. I know I'm cashing that ticket. And as we know, there's plenty of games I have. So it's not hard to find a 2 or 3 team teaser every week. Okay, my UTSA, my favorite, the Roadrunners, got to love that. Balanced offense, if new running back. Okay, so last year, right, Sincere McCormick's his name. So 184 yards rushing, 255 passing, beautiful offense. That's why I was on him. As soon as I read that, that's the team I want to bet because you can't defense them. So they scored 37 a game. How many people knew UTSA scored 37 a game, except for my audience? They give up 24. They're an A team. The defense, they lost people. They got a good coach in this Jeff Traylor. The quarterback's back, Frank Harris. As I told you, he was like a first team all conference, whatever this is, UTSA or USA. Should be a very good team. They open at Houston. Should be a very good game. Houston's a little bit better, but not a lot better. And, I like that the quarterback's back. I wish McCormick was back. This guy was unbelievable. They don't show what he did last year, but I think it was like 1,500 yards, and he had moves on him. It was incredible. So, look at them last year. They beat Illinois. They beat Memphis. They beat Western Kentucky, Louisiana Tech, UTEP, Southern Miss, and Western Kentucky. And then they lost to San Diego State. I don't know if somebody sat out or not in the bowl game, but they beat some good teams, especially at Illinois. They beat them. I think we had them the first week. They were getting points from Illinois. It was so bad. But this week will be in. They're at home against Houston. They're Texas, San Antonio, Houston. So it's a Texas game. I like the dog in that game, and I think UTSA. Well, let's see what's UTSA getting. UTSA. I have Houston as 7-point favorites. Just that's what I thought the line would be, and they're only 4.5. Over under a 59. This is an over 59. Oh my God. Houston I have as they're both A teams, so I like the dog. I definitely like San Antonio at 10.5, but I think I like the over just as much. They will score 25, but Houston's a very good scoring team, so I look for that to be high scoring. Western Kentucky, Zapke. How the hell does this guy go in the 5th round, Zapke? He throws 62 touchdowns and 6,000 yards, and, you don't think he's good because he didn't go to Alabama or Ohio State? Seriously, I don't understand how these guys draft. This guy's 62 touchdowns. I mean, it's no more of a gimmick than Alabama and Ohio State run, and they don't throw for 62. I think they throw in the 40s or something, but he was just – I remember the bowl game, and one of my customers said, who is this guy? And he's just throwing darts all over the place. And I go, well, that's why you got the Teaser King on your side. Let's see. No, they don't have they got Jarek Doggy from Syracuse. So they lost a lot of talent. New quarterback Doggy. He was Bowling Green and Syracuse. The coach went from Bowling Green to Syracuse. Questionable defense over pass offense. Now, here's a typical air raid offense. 100 yards rushing and 433 yards passing. Are you not only is it 500 yards, but 400 yards passing a game? I'm sure this quarterback will do fine. Well, Doggy, I know. He used to put up those numbers at Bowling Green, but I'm sure they'll be fine. And their defense, they give up 30. It's going to be high-scoring games. And they open with Austin Peay at Hawaii. Should be a high-scoring game because Hawaii's coach is high-scoring. Now they throw in a few independents, so we'll quickly do that. Army. I love Army. A-team. Quarterback has played tough tough first few games. They open with Coastal Carolina, my quarterback McCall, then they go to UTSA, so that's going to be tough. Their quarterback Tyler and Jones both played last year. That's one thing with Army. They're just running a wishbone, so it doesn't matter. But they're starting to pass a little bit more on it. Love their coach. I don't know why a better team isn't picking this guy up. He's incredible. The Detroit Lions could use this guy and run the wishbone in the pros. They do a lot better than what they do now. So, of course, they run for 280 a game and pass for 94, which is not bad. They pass for 94 yards. To keep you honest, they give up 23. They scored 32. How the hell Army scored 32 last year is beyond me. And who did they beat? That was good. They beat Western Kentucky. That was the Wisconsin game, 20-14. We had 14 or 17. Wake got them. They beat the Air Force, who's always a good team. They beat Liberty and the Malik Willis quarterback. Army took care of them. Surprising loss to Navy, and then they started our bowl run by beating Missouri 24-22. We had them +1 or 2, and they kicked a field goal late to win the game. And then next thing I knew, like 17-1 on the bowls after this game. So I thank you, Army, and they're a great defensive, good coach team. And a lot of normally under because they're running the ball 13-minute drives. You get 5 drives a game. But the quarterback was so good. Anderson last year, they couldn't stop. He'd run the option and he'd go all the way for a touchdown. This guy had 5, 6, 70-yard touchdowns. So they're not grinding. That's why they went over because they didn't need to grind the ball. The guy would do it. BYU, I have them as an A team. New running back. Quarterback's very good. Balanced offense, good defense, very strong team. They're an A team. Jared Hall, quarterback, 2,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, and only 5 interceptions. That's why you bet BYU. The guy's not going to put it away. Coach is back. Their offense, they run for 188, throw for 264. Beautiful mixture. They give up 24. So they score 33, give up 24. They're kind of an A or a B team. And they're going to open up at USF. They'll kill USF. There's a good team, a good quarterback. They want to get off to a good start. Now, they played Baylor, and Baylor beat them 38-24. That's how good Baylor was last year. They killed them. And BYU is a good team. BYU beat USC. They beat that should have been USC. They beat Arizona, who sucked. They beat Utah, but Rising didn't play in the game. They beat Arizona State, Utah State, who was good, Washington State. So they are a very strong team, and the quarterback's the key. When a team that's good has a bad year, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, it's because they have a bad quarterback. That's why they have a bad year. If they have that good quarterback, they do not have a bad year. Ohio State really had defensive problems. They scored a ton of points last year. So BYU, an A, Notre Dame. Now, I am questioning this. Marcus Freeman, I question he's a rah-rah. Well, I think of Jerry Faust, and he was horrible at Notre Dame. That's when Miami beat him like 50-0. Jerry Faust was the coach, and he'd come up and pat the guy on the back. Oh, let's have a good game. I can't coach with his shit, but let's have a good game. And he would just try to be Joe Nice Guy, but he wasn't a good coach, and that's what I think this guy is. So they scored 35, gave up 19. They were an A team last year. They lose the quarterback, so Cohn's gone. The other 2 quarterbacks are nothing. They lose their 1,000-yard rusher. They lose their All-American safety. Now, my question is, you got a new quarterback, and you got this guy who's never coached before. As hard as it was for Brian Kelly, you think this guy's going to – in the first game, they're at Ohio State, and I love it. I was hoping the spread would be a little bit lower so I could get it under a touchdown. It's 14 now. I love Ohio State. They're going to kill them. Ohio State's on a mission. They're pissed. They didn't make the play. They lost to Michigan. That's how pissed they are. When Ohio State loses to Michigan, they get very emotional, very intense, and that's what you want from Ohio State. And this game's not even in the Jerry Dome. This game's at Ohio State. Look at Ohio State to kill them. This game's going to be ugly, and I love it. Connecticut, weak offense, new coach, new quarterback, a Z team. Here's a team that scores 15 points a game, gives up 38. They run for 100, and they only pass for 164. How can you not get 300 yards a game? 265. So Jim Mora, I think the UCLA coach, what the hell is he doing at Connecticut? Unbelievable. So the quarterback's a sophomore. He's terrible. The runner is, it's a pathetic. They open at Utah State. Utah State will kill him. Mora's just there. I don't know if he actually thinks he's going to do anything or he's just getting a paycheck. But if I was coaching Connecticut, I'd be there for the paycheck. Liberty. Balanced offense due to a running quarterback, good coach, a B team, an over team. The new quarterback is I want to say Brewer from Baylor. Now, he wasn't the superstar, but he was very good. So you're getting a pretty good quarterback. Now, they scored 33 game, gave up 21. They ran for 180 and gave up 250, but a lot of it was the quarterback was a running quarterback. You don't have that this year. So Brewer is a senior. He's okay, but he got beaten out at Baylor by 2 guys. So he's okay. He's not great. They open at Southern Miss. We'll get into them when we get into their division. Liberty is an independent, so they play whoever. They play BYU, they play Arkansas, they play Old Dominion, and they play Virginia Tech, New Mexico State. So who knows about them? With this Willis, this is my problem with Willis. They were only 8-5, and of their 8, they beat Campbell and Old Dominion and UMass and Eastern Michigan. So they really didn't, their losses were to Syracuse, Louisiana Monroe, Ole Miss, okay, Louisiana Lafayette, my team, and Army killed them. So I don't know. Hugh Freeze is a good coach, I think, from Ole Miss. So he's not bad. He's not going to hurt you. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll see how the new quarterback Brewer fits in and mends. But this is kind of like watch the box scores and just watch them for the first 3 weeks. New Mexico State, another Z team. All these independents are Z teams. They score 22, give up 40. Enough said. Weak defense, new coach, new quarterback, Z team. They just suck. They open with Nevada, but Nevada has their same thing. Strong, their quarterback. I don't know if he got drafted or not, but he's gone, so they got a new quarterback. UMass, another Z team. This is incredible. All these shitty teams in the independents. You got BYU and Notre Dame, and then you got a bunch of crap. UMass, 147 yards, 152 passing. They're a balanced offense, but their offense gets 300 a game. They score 16, give up 43. A new coach, Don Brown, who was the Michigan defensive coordinator, who blitzed every down, and Ohio State burned them because they couldn't play man-to-man. The Michigan coach doesn't know how to coach man-to-man defense, really. So what are you doing at UMass? Collecting a check, I guess. Quarterback, nobody. 7 touchdowns and 8 picks. Their running back had 1,100 yards. Give them credit for that. So look for them to run a lot, I guess. But any good wins. They beat UConn, the other Z team. They got killed by the Z team, New Mexico State. They lost to freaking Maine, who's Division II, and Rhode Island, who's Division II. And Army beat them pretty good. Coastal Carolina, 53-3 them. So you can see they're a terrible team. They open with Tulane. We'll have to look at Tulane. And now we get to the MAC. So we're going to do this quickly. The MAC is one of these shitty conference. They're good and bad. A couple years ago, Buffalo was the cream. We bet them and locked them and won a lot on Buffalo against the weak teams here. So let's quickly go through this. Miami of Ohio, the first team quarterback, Brett Gabbert, I assume is the other Gabbert who was at Missouri and Tampa Bay who sucked. Probably his brother. He's Miami of Ohio. Rocky Lombardi was at Michigan State as Northern Illinois, the second team quarterback. And DeQuan Finn, sophomore out of Toledo, is the third team offense. Running backs, Lou Nichols is an exceptional running back at Central Michigan. We'll talk about that in a minute. couple of Western and a Northern Illinois and a Ball State and another Western. So Western's got 2 good running backs also. So let's see. So really the best team they've got here is Miami of Ohio and Kent, and then Northern Illinois, Toledo, and Central Michigan. And the worst team is Akron, and I think Ball State's pretty bad. And Buffalo, we'll have to see. So Akron, I have them as a Z team. They scored 20, gave up 40, ran for 120, passed for 217. They got a new coach, Joe Moorhead. He's coached before, but I think it was Division II. Fordham and then at Mississippi State, but I don't think he was a head coach at Mississippi State. If you got a guy from Fordham going to Akron, that'll help him. New quarterback, not much there. Last year's quarterback, I think it's Irons. He had 8 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. They're big running back, 500 yards. So, again, just a terrible team. Bowling Green, returning quarterback, average, I'm not sure. Weak offense, poor defense, good pass defense, weak offense. So I went from a poor defense. Well, I have a poor defense, but a good pass defense. Let's say that. And a weak offense. They must be a Z team. They scored 21, give up 30, rush for 100, pass for 200. So you can see they're more passing. They can't really run the ball. Their quarterback's back, Mac McDonald. There's 12 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Not much there. No running, 400 yards. So it's just another bad team. This could be a week 1 lock. And no, I would not play this on the money line down play at UCLA. And I think the spread's in the 20s. This seriously might be my first lock. You're going against a team that gives up 30. Not much in the mind of the quarterback. They can't really run. They don't, poor defense. The only thing that has a good passing defense, but UCLA will run it down their throats. Good night. They opened at Tennessee last year and it was 38-6. That's about what I would think UCLA will do to them. Although they actually did beat Minnesota last year at Minnie, but that's how bad Minnesota was. Buffalo, balanced offense, an E team, returning quarterback, new coach, 1 year, and our day and over. So the coach was 4-8 after successful teams the prior years, and he had a full cupboard. Although at this transfer portal, you don't know what happens. New coach comes in, there's 10 new guys that come in and 10 new guys that leave. I don't like it. Matt Myers, the quarterback, 5 touchdowns, 4 picks. The running back, 440. Another poor team. They open at Maryland. Maryland, this is a team Maryland will like. Look for Maryland to kill them. They are somewhat balanced. They ran for 200 a game and passed for 215. So in that sense, they are balanced, but I don't know if it was the quarterback who did a lot of the running. They give up 30 a game, so they got a very weak defense. So we'll have to see. This could be an over team just because they get 400 yards, give up 400 yards. So that's usually a lot of scoring. We'll see. Let's see how they do against Maryland. And if Maryland kills them, they get Coastal Carolina is going to kill them in week 3 because they're not going to stop McCall. Kent State, balanced offense, new quarterback, up-tempo offense, new. So they're switching to a new offense. They're trying to be a passing type of team, an over team. Last year, they scored 33 a game and gave up 36. They're a total over team. A new quarterback. Didn't do anything last year. Now, the running back, Marquez Cooper, 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns. The coach has been there a couple of years, Sean Lewis, who I don't know who he is. Balanced offense. They open at Washington, who has their own trouble. So the new, I would think Washington will blitz them a lot. I don't know. It'll be tough to see if they're going to score on Washington with a new quarterback who's not really played. So keep an eye on them, but they're looking to be an over team, a throwing team. Miami of Ohio, more pass offense, returning quarterback, good. They're a B team. So Miami of Ohio is not a bad team. They got 28 a game, gave up only 23, 145 rushing, 278. Typical passing team. Brett Gabbert, the quarterback we're talking about, he had 26 touchdowns and 6 picks. So they're a good dog in conference. So the key is in conference. They open at Kentucky. I wouldn't fuck with them. They got Cincinnati. They got Northwestern. Maybe you play them. But Buffalo and Bowling Green and Akron, that's when you jump them. So these type of teams, you've got to look at if they're in conference or not, right? These teams are better in conference. Like Miami of Ohio doesn't have a chance against Kentucky, but against Akron, then you play them. So you've got to be very leery of the stats and who they're playing and, what are they playing? In conference is one thing versus out of conference, especially when the out of conference is Kentucky and Cincinnati. Then they're going to look bad, but then when they play Akron, they're going to look good. And that's what you want is keep an eye in conference or not. So the first 3 weeks, you don't know what's going to go on. And then once you're in conference, now you've got to come back to this and go, all right, what did the professors say in conference with these weaker teams? Alabama looks better because they beat somebody 62-0. That is terrible. New Mexico State or UMass or something like that, and they're really bad. So Alabama, they're the best team. Look at they beat. I hate that when you beat somebody 45-0. You're not that good and they're not that bad. It's just the day. It's the matchup. And the next week, they won 45-0 last week. They're going to win 45-0. This is the way the idiot gamblers think. You've got to play each game like poker. What's my hand? I got aces. I got 2-9. I got a pair of sevens. I got 3-6. You got to play each hand individually. You got to play each game like a poker game. Ohio, new coach. He's been there 1 year. He went 3-9. He's not good. Returning quarterback, more of an option quarterback. Weak offense. They're a W. W is they score 22, give up 30, so they're going to give up a lot. They do have a balanced offense in the fact they ran for 187 and threw for 184. So from that standpoint, they do have that balance going for them. But it only gave them 22 points because their defense was giving up 30. Rourke, good quarterback. Well, he's returning 11 touchdowns and 7. See, but he's also a running quarterback. So I always kind of be careful with that because he's going to get injured. And, that's why you don't want running quarterbacks. It's a very stupid idea. Now they go Florida Atlantic and then Penn State and then Iowa State. Wow, real tough first 3 weeks. Keep an eye on them. They don't have a defense to handle Penn State. Iowa State's not going to be a very strong offensive team. That would probably be Iowa State will probably just shut them out 20-0. That'll probably be an under. Then we got Ball State, new quarterback, E-team, average running back, scored 24, give up 28, 130 rushing, 207 passing. So again, it's the pretty standard. We're going to throw the ball, and it's another, it's the same game, most of it. The coach has been there 6 years. They're not a bad team. They went 6-7 last year. They open up with Tennessee. Good luck. So nothing to write home about. Now, Central, very good coach. This is McElwain, who was at Colorado State. When they lit it up, he goes to Florida. Huge mistake. He gets booed off the thing because they were losing. And now he's at Central Michigan. See, this is why just stay at Colorado State. You're very successful. He was winning the titles there, but he can't handle Florida. You can't do that, and then you're not good enough to go to SEC and handle Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Auburn, and all those guys. But you are good at Central Michigan, where you can handle Miami of Ohio, and Toledo. I mean, that's a whole different thing. Anyway, so this is his 3rd year. He's been there 3 years. Quarterback, very good. Richardson, 24 touchdowns and 6. He was a freshman last year. 24 touchdowns, 6. And now the running back, Nichols, 1,800 yards. This is exactly what you're looking for. Balanced offense, rush for 178, and they still threw for 265. This is a team that can score, obviously, 32, give up 25. This is going to be fairly high scoring. but because they got a great runner, they're going to score inside the red zone. So when they get the ball to 15, they're going to hand it off to him, touchdown. So he had 16 touchdowns last year. That's why you need a running game. You get the ball to 15, you cannot pass the ball into the end zone. It's not going to. There's not enough field. The guys are too fast. They're going to blitz you because they don't have anything to defend. But if you can run, there's nothing they can do. They cannot handle the running back. So that's what you have. 32-25. Again, very good quarterback. So they got very balanced. Their defense, they're pretty good. They 381 a game. They just a passer will beat them. And they Oakland at Oklahoma State. And that'll be a hell of a game. Oklahoma State, as I told you, they're very strong. They're a top 5 team. They had a good defense last year. They graduate. We'll see what they got. But they're going to give Oak State all they want because of this offense, right? It's going to be in Oak State. How serious are they going to take Central? Let's see. Are they a live dog? You got Oak State 21 over Central. Central with the strong balance, strong running. Oklahoma State's an 8 team, so they got a good defense. Central, I would think it is kind of an under 59. Now, I say it's an under, even though I say Central is a good team with a good offense. When they're playing an 8 team like an Oklahoma State or an Ohio State or a Michigan, they're not going to score a lot, even though they are balanced. They're going to be balanced against the MAC or against some of these independents or these Conference USA teams I started the program with. They're going to be very good against them. So they play South Alabama, and then they go to Penn State's going to be a tough game. And then Toledo, Ball State, Akron, Bowling Green, that's when they're going to look good, and you're going to want to take them. Don't fuck with the Oklahoma States, but I think it will be an under because if Central can run the ball, that'll eat the clock. The more you can run, the quicker the game moves, the less turnover, the less interceptions. It's not as easy to get fumbles, so look for that. I think under 21. I don't know with this offense, it's hard, but their defense is they go up 25. I think they can stay in the game, especially if we tease it up to 27. But I don't love going against Oklahoma State at Oklahoma. But I would probably prefer an under in the game. With Central running enough to keep the game lower scoring. Running teams keep it under. Passing teams go over. So keep that in mind. Eastern Michigan, over team. New quarterback, weak defense, inexperienced quarterback. So I don't know if they'll go over with an inexperienced quarterback. But last year, they scored 30 a game, gave up 30 a game. That's what I mean. They're an over team. With that, quarterback, no experience, running back, nothing. So they're weak. The defense gives up 30, gives up 400 yards. So they're a very poor team, Eastern. They open against Eastern Kentucky. Then they go to Louisiana, Lafayette, Arizona State. So, again, in college, sometimes you can't take advantage of a terrible team because they're playing terrible teams. So you can't really – you're looking for that UCLA mismatch, but you can't find – I mean, I just assume take UCLA in late 22 all day long against Bowling Green over trying to deal with Central Michigan, Oklahoma State. That, I don't know. I know UCLA is going to score 60 points. I know USC is going to score 60 points because they can't – there's no way Rice can stop them. Northern Illinois, balanced running offense. Running quarterback from Michigan State in Lombardi. They're an over team. They scored 32, gave up 33. So, of course, their defense is weak. So that's the code, right? It's an over. You know they're going to score a lot. They don't have defense. An A, you know they score a lot. You know they have a very good defense. Your Ohio States, your Michigans, your Alabamas, Georgias. Those are your real A, 35, and they give up 15 points. And those you don't want to fuck with unless you got another A. So unless Alabama's playing Georgia, now I can take the dog. But if Alabama's playing like a Kentucky even, I ain't screwing with that. So Northern Illinois coach, been there 3 years. They are really a successful program in the MAC. They tend to win it a lot, them in Toledo. Their big wins last year, they beat Central 39-38, Buffalo, and then they played Coastal Carolina pretty good in the bowl game, 47-41. So that was a good game. Now, here's a surprising score. They played Wyoming to a 50-43, and you'd have thought Wyoming is a good defensive team. So that shows you sometimes. So they're a pretty good over team. And Lombardi's a senior quarterback, so I'll look for them to score a lot. This should be a good scoring team. Toledo, always an explosive team, 33 points, gives up 21. They're an A team. Quarterback's back, and DeQuan Finn, as I mentioned earlier, 18 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He's the man. And he also runs for 500 yards, another 9 touchdowns. Mika Kelly, I don't know. He's their running back. So their running back graduated. The coach has been there 6 years. And again, they open with I don't know who LIU is, and then UMass. So they should kill UMass. And then here comes Ohio State. Good luck with that one. You think they're a good team, and then they play Ohio State, and then you 62-0. Especially a pissed off Ohio State team. Western Michigan, balanced offense, new quarterback, good defense, strong running game. These Michigan schools, Central strong runner. Here's another Sean Taylor, 1,140 yards. New quarterback, freshman. Look for them to run. They scored 32 and gave up 28. They're not scoring 32 unless this quarterback, who's a freshman, starts doing something. So they do have a decent defense. And again, a balanced offense. Now, here's what I'm looking at. 212 yards a game running and 250 passing. Again, they got a new quarterback. So is he going to just open it up? You'll have to wait 3 or 4 weeks to see this. They open at Michigan State. Michigan State will blitz and take the run away, making this guy have to beat him throwing. And he ain't doing it. And I know the Michigan State quarterback, his dad coaches for Western, because I heard the interview. So this will be interesting if they take it easy on Western. I hope not. But then it gets Ball State, and then they get Pittsburgh and San Jose State. So they got a few tough games with the new quarterback. So let's watch them. This is a good test. Let's see how he does against Michigan State. If they score 30 points on Michigan State with this kid, okay, now we're going to be betting Western. But if Michigan State beats them 31-0, we won't really learn anything about the quarterback, and we can't really play him. We got to play him on. Then we play him under against against Pitt. All right, that's it. We'll do Mountain West tomorrow, and we'll do. I think we got Pac-10. Yeah, we got the Pac-10. Mountain West, Boise, and the Air Force, and Fresno State, San Diego State, my boys. So that's football. NFL, I'm waiting to see. I don't care about preseason. Now it's so bad because they don't even play their quarterback. At least before, you would play Aaron Rodgers the first half of the second game, and you get Aaron Rodgers, fine, or Brady. Now you have no idea, and these guys have no coordination, no timing at all. Makes week 1 a nightmare. But we'll get into that later. Right now it's a little early for the NFL. I did go over it briefly, just the quarterback and the coaches, but I'll do that tomorrow. Let's go through baseball one more time. The lock's going to go off shortly. So we had Philly over 9, Houston, Tampa Bay, the Mets, the White Sox is the lock. I think it's an 8-10 game. Boston over 9, Toronto over 8.5, and the LA Rams, Dodgers. That's the baseball tonight. Again, so from what I hear with gold and silver is the banks are heavily buying the actual coins, the gold and the silver. And talking to this guy who is deals with the mint, and the banks are just buying. They bought like 1 million ounces from him and his associates. And so it's becoming not a shortage, but okay, put it this way. Last week I went to buy my gold and silver. They had 2 ounces, 2 American Eagles and then 2/10 of an ounce American Eagles, and they only had 6 silver Eagles, and then they didn't have their junk, the Buffaloes, and then the guy makes some. He's got a license to make, and he's got these Michigan things, which I wasn't interested in. He only had 6 silver. This is Saturday afternoon. He had 6 silver. I bought them all, and I bought the 2/10 of an ouncers. I didn't buy the ounce, and even though the price was $1,700, he's selling them for $1,900. So there you go. But my point is, you better buy it now or very, very soon, because now the banks have flushed it all out, and they're not going to be shorting as much as they were, and therefore they're buying the coins, right? The banks are buying the coins. Okay, they're not playing derivative bullshit. They're buying the coins, which is going to put a shortage out. Eventually, there's no more gold to buy, and then the price goes up, and then you'll see some gold at $5,000 an ounce. I'm trying to get you to buy it now versus then, because I know that's where it's going. I was watching some idiot today. I watch him. I know he's an idiot, but I watch to get his point of view, and he's saying, oh, put your money in cash and treasury bills, and I laughed. Dude, why would you want your money in cash when it's a piece of paper that's being printed and printed and printed, being devalued? The fact it's the world reserve currency is not real because they're going away from the dollar on the petro. So the reason the U.S. has been the reserve currency once we went off of gold was because it was attached to Saudi Arabian oil. And again, I don't think Biden's real. I think he's just drugged up and does whatever China wants. So he gets into a fight with Saudi, and now Saudi's going with yuan and rubles. Well, who does that help? China. Well, who's running our country? China, because it benefits China. Why did Nancy Pelosi go to Taiwan? She doesn't even know what day it is. She's like Biden. She's 80 years old. Why wouldn't she just do it teams? Hey, Taiwan, okay, we got your back. Why does she go there, spends one day? It causes this big conflict with China. So really, it's like a magician, right? Watch my left hand while I take your watch with my right. And that's what she went just for deflection. So China could now, they're bombing them and they're shooting missiles at them, and the Navy's threatening blockade. It must be the new war. Nobody actually fights. They just do blockades and sanctions and everything. Anyway, it's all screwed up. Everybody seems to be doing it on purpose. Everybody's screwing their currencies on purpose. I don't really get it. That's why you got to get gold and silver. Gold and silver is a lock because the money's going out, right? I don't care what anybody says. Stock market is going to crash. Get the hell out of it. Because what's going to happen, see, call it what you want. We're definitely in a recession. We're going in a depression. And the reason is when things cost more, you buy less. That's just logic, right? If all of a sudden gas is $5, I got to spend $5 on gas. I'm not going to buy as much. And I got to go to the grocery store. I don't have any money to go golfing or play games or go to Target or do other things because I only have a finite amount of money. As I told my girlfriend, I do not have a money tree. Oh, give me this, give me that. I don't have a money tree. I'm paying for the trips, the flights, the hotel. I don't have money for all that stuff. So you only have so much money. So what happens is then the inventory doesn't sell. The companies aren't making as much money because sales are down. They're laying off people, which causes a domino effect. So that's why the market will go down, because as things become more expensive because of the inflation. So you're printing money, making the value drop. You watch, I bet you at the most there'll be one more interest rate hike. Then they're going to say, well, let's see what happens. And they'll stop. And then they'll start lowering it. And, that'll be it. Gold will be, gold will maybe start at 4,000 or 5,000 and then hit 10,000, go to 20,000. Now, all I hear is, well, it's not an investment, it's protection. And this one guy, I would have 5% in gold. I'm like, dude, I got like 90% of my money in gold and silver. And I'm thinking about making it 100% because it's a lot. It's going to go up, way up in value, even if it's in U.S. dollars or rubles or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter because it's all paper money. Even the yuan and the rupees going out, and Japan's going out, and China's got all this debt. So everybody has all this debt. It's going to blow up, right? How long? What if you can't pay your mortgage or your credit cards? What happens? So if you're a country and you owe $10 trillion, you can't print it because it'll cause more inflation and more inflation. And look what's going on with China and the housing. Anyway, because the banks are now actually buying physical gold and silver, that's the signal that we've been waiting for. Look out, buy it before it's gone, because once it's gone, you're not going to be able to get it. And if you can find it, it's not going to be $1,800 an ounce or $1,900 an ounce. Or in silver's case, even with it down at 17, 18, my guy's still selling it at 35. And I laugh. I mean, silver's expensive. And I go, it's $35 an ounce. That's not expensive. It's going to $2,000. Like, you're giving me a $2,000 an ounce silver for $35. I'll buy it all day. And he kind of doesn't really believe me. And I kind of go, oh, yeah, that's where it's going. Because once it's not going to just go there. But once it moves, and then people see it moving, get in, and that'll cause it to go. My one example of this is the Michael Jordan rookie card. Let's take the Joe Montana rookie card. So Joe Montana PSA 10, it's a nice $200, $300 card. Then you get a graded PSA 10. It goes to 1,000. Then it goes to 2. Then it goes to 10. It's at 100,000 for a PSA 10 Joe Montana. Now, when I bought it in 1990, finding a mint-centered card was extremely difficult, but I was patient. And when I did find it, I paid $20, $30 for it. It's not graded. But that's, it'll go to 100. I'll be happy. But it's Montana's rookie. It's a good card to buy. It's Montana, right? But I didn't know it was going to be 100,000. Now, is it a PSA 10? I showed it to you. I'll have another video where we'll just talk sports cards versus gold. But yeah, it's damn close to a 10, and it might get it. The only issue is it's like 55, 45 off center. Corners are sharp, pitcher's sharp. So I'm hoping for a 10. Maybe it's a 9. A 10 goes for $100,000. But the point is, I didn't know it was going to be a $100,000 card. Back then, you didn't even have grading. This was early 90s, I think. You didn't even have grading cards. So I just bought it figuring, it'll go, I didn't even care if it went up. I was like, okay, I bought it for 60. It's Joe Montana. It's his rookie card. I knew enough to buy rookie cards, but I didn't know it would go up like this. That's my point. So it slowly rises to now it's 100. And that's my point with silver. Silver is at 35, Joe Montana, $60. And all of a sudden it goes to $100,000. As it's going up, people are bidding it up. That's my point. So people can't imagine silver being not $100,000, but being 2,000 an ounce. Oh, yeah, it's 35. Well, that's what Joe Montana was. And it slowly, and then it boomed. And that's my point. So if you go on eBay and PSA 10 Joe Montana rookie, if you can find one, because there's not a lot of them, and it's tough to see an auction where he then all sold, but he's been about 100,000, maybe about 90,000. His card should go way up. The more the inflation hits, people will run to assets. So if you don't want to buy gold and silver for whatever reason, that's real money. You are going into a Mercedes dealership with an ounce of gold and buying a $100,000 Mercedes, and they're going to thank you. That's what's going to happen, not right now, but soon. So when I hear people say, well, it's not an investment, there's no interest, I'm like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? What is an investment? Any investment is about making money. You're going to make money with gold and silver. If you think first of all, if you think 1,800 is the real price, you're crazy, because it's price fixed down by COMEX, by JP Morgan and Bank of America and Wells Fargo. They've been keeping it down with derivatives. Well, that game has ended. They cannot do it anymore. They've been doing a fire sale, like in margin call, getting rid of their derivatives, because right now, if gold shot up or silver shot up, they'd lose $1 trillion. And not only that, but they're keeping the price low so the banks can buy gold and silver at these ridiculously low. Now, I don't think they can get them for $18, $20 an ounce. They're probably still paying 30, 35, but the derivative price is not real. So when people say, well, it'll go to 50, no, this is not a real price for the demand for silver. And what I hear is India has a huge demand of it, and a huge demand for gold, but it's not in the market. At least on eBay, you can see Joe Montana, 100 grand. Well, what if they kept the Joe Montana card down to 500? You would think it's a $500 card, but the market dictated it's 100,000. And that's what the market would be dictating for gold and silver. If the Joe Montana rookie card is 100 grand and the Jerry Rice rookie card, now these are PSA 10s, is 100 grand, and the Michael Jordan 86 Flair is $1 million, and the Tom Brady has a 100 count autograph one that's $1.5 million, and I own one that I showed, a Bowman Chrome Refractor, which is about 80,000. You don't think gold can hit 100 grand and silver at least 10 grand? Would you rather have an ounce of silver? Now, I know it's not limited. Like, how many PSA 10 Montanas are there? I mean, maybe 20, 30. It's not a lot because it was damn hard to get them centered. So with that known, that's what you have going. So keep that in mind. There's no way this is the real price. So therefore, they're keeping it low, and now the banks are buying it. And then when the banks are done buying it, China and Russia definitely need gold to go up in value. They hold most of it, and India. And India is in trouble too. So India and China are going bankrupt. China's got 10 trillion in debt in their housing market, and India, they're inflating their currencies 80 to our dollar, or 79 to our dollar. And it's just insane. The whole world's crazy. My girlfriend says, "What is the whole world crazy?" I go, "Yeah." She said, "What's going to happen now? World War III?" And I go, "It's already happening, World War III. And China's winning it by taking us over." I was watching the movie Les Miserables, as I call it, the Broadway France Revolution. And I'm watching the movie, and it's because of inflation that France had the revolution, because all the poor were starving and the elite had their shit. And that's the guillotine. They're chopping, like kill them. They're killing us. And that's what generally happens. That's what's happening in China now, where you're doing this demonstrations. And I thought, wouldn't it be easier to infiltrate the government as opposed to fighting them? You're not going to fight an army and win, but if you get in charge and you are the leader, then you've won. And that's exactly what's happening now. You don't see the revolutions here in Canada and Britain and Germany and France. What do you see? The government takeovers, right? George Soros has done this government takeover where he's basically put the politicians in, and one of them's dumber than the next. Biden and this Macron, and in France, and the guy in Canada, Trudeau, they're all idiots. They don't know. They couldn't add 2 and 2 up, and they're running the money is the problem. That should be privatized. There should be a private bank that is in business to make money, and that's it. And it's got to be safe and balanced money. And I really don't know how you do it, but I know that the government shouldn't be running it because they can't run anything. And that's really what, if I was doing the Miserables, I would have done, is not fight the army, but infiltrated the government, which is what's happening now. And I thought, what a brilliant move. What Soros is doing is he runs all the government and the governors and the Congress in the U.S. and in England and in all these countries. Soros is in charge, and it's a very scary thought. He needs to go to jail, and he's old, so he's not going to live much longer. But who knows who's next? But This is a guy that's no good, and he's got too much power, and it's very sad, but that's what's really going on. Because you'll notice all the leaders are the same. They're all, oh, it's green energy, and it's like, what does that have to do with it? Electric cars. What do you think? The oil companies are going to just sit back and say, "Yeah, no problem. Don't use the car anymore. Don't use our oil. We don't need it." So I don't know. I don't buy that, but I do know that's their strategy. Instead of having the miserable where we fight and we die at the barricade, they're infiltrating the government, and then now they're in charge and they can do whatever they want. Otherwise, they couldn't fight for green energy bullshit, or they couldn't fight for all this taxes and inflation. You could never have that with a normal government and normal people running it. So anyway, that's what's really happening in the world. That's what's happening in our world, the football and the baseball. I'll be on tomorrow with 2 more conferences and the baseball picks. Probably about 11. I can sleep in a little bit. And that's about it. I wish everybody happy and healthy and good luck. My girlfriend lives in the Ukraine, went to Poland to visit her son, and it's like a 20-hour train ride, but there's no planes. You can't fly to Poland. You can't do a 2-hour flight. You got to take a train, and you're nervous because are they going to bomb it? Is there going to be missiles? Then once you went home, it's the same thing. The train took off 2 hours late because they're looking for mines on the tracks that the Russians might have mined it. I mean, it's insane. And now she's back in the Ukraine, and your heart goes out for her because she's getting air raids and missiles and all this shit. Like, I don't even understand what Putin's doing. Like, okay, it's one thing to have an objective and take over. We're going to take over the White House. But why would you be knocking off, Smallville, Kansas? Why would you be sending missiles there? What's there? There's nothing of value there. So that's what I question what he's doing in the Ukraine. I know he's there for the oil, but what are you bombing these little countries? And don't mess with Odessa, my city. So I don't know what he's doing, but I'm glad they got the grain through and everything. Anyway, that's just a different topic. But anyway, have a good weekend. Good luck on the baseball. Anybody who wants to sign up for the football, I'm giving a discount. It's $750 for the whole year, which normally is $1,100, but people have it tough enough, so I brought it down. And but if you were a customer last year and you want it, then I'm selling it for $650. I've already had a few customers that have already bought it. So I will be happy to do that. If you buy a couple of weeks and then, want to buy the rest of the year, we'll discount it. I'll still give you the discount. So it's a very, very good price, $750 for it. And if you're a returner at $650, you can't beat it. And when you break it into 20, 21 weeks, it's nothing, $40 a week. And just go to my bowls. That's why I leave all these videos, right? Go to the bowls, look at my predictions for the college bowls, and you go, fuck, 8-0 on the locks. So that's why I do it. You can see I had Georgia over Alabama. It's on the video. I can't say anything about it. People were giving me a hard time. Alabama's going to win. Nick Saban. I go, ain't nobody beating this defense. And if it wasn't for the worst incompletion call that gave Alabama the ball at the 10 on the worst call I've ever seen, it would have been even bloodier. Although they got the pick 6, so it's kind of like that was 2 easy touchdowns, but it still didn't bother my over. Anyway, let me know if you have questions. www.teaserking.com. And you can email me. I get a lot of emails. Happy to help you to answer questions. But please feel free to sign up. And, I post my history. You can see, I'm really an analyst and an economics and an economist is really my forte. but I'm very good at noticing and analyzing, and that's why I'm good at football and baseball picking. Better in football than baseball, but that's why I'm good at it. In poker, you're just reading the guy. I remember a couple of weeks ago, I'm playing, and I'm getting lousy cards, and I said, I get up, I can't take it. I'm leaving after an hour of 3-9, and the guy goes to me, well, you need to bluff more, and I go, you got to understand when you can bluff and when you can't. And I'm not bluffing with the 3-9 when there's $2 and $3 in the pot. I'm playing 1-2. Okay, I can put in $20 and win $3. That's not my strategy. I want 3 or 4 people in the pot, and then I bet 10 and I get 3 or 4 colors. Now I got 4-1 odds. Then I might bluff, but I got to have something to bluff with. And I got to know when I can bluff by watching. If the other guy's betting 20, it's not the time to bluff. The time to bluff is when they're kind of weak. And then you can make the bet and they're going to fold. If somebody's got a big hand, you cannot bluff him out. He's not going out. So you got to know when you can bluff and when not. And I know that. But it doesn't come out when I get lousy hands. I just throw them out because there's nothing. What am I going to do with 2-9? What if I catch the 9? I got a 2 kicker. What if I catch the 2? Any pair beats me. What's the point of playing the hand? Oh, I hope the flop comes 2-2-9. Yeah, I don't play that. That's just luck. That's not even luck. I don't know what that is. That's insanity. All right, everybody, have a good day. Again, www.teaserking.com. And we'll be back with more football. And if you want to, give me an email about the football, please do. Or the baseball or anything else. We'll be getting more in the NFL the next few weeks. Right now, college starts earlier, and there's so much more to cover. Like I said, I'll do Mountain West and Pac-10 tomorrow, and then I'll probably do SEC and whatever's left on Sunday, and then we'll get back into week 1, week 2, and the NFL. All right, everybody, buy your gold and silver because it's not going to be there long. It is not like I'm guessing. It's like I hope it happens. Yes, I know it's been a long time, but now the banks are buying. Now it's the explosion that's been waiting to happen. And it's not, the COMEX price is not real. So don't think 2,000 will go up to 2. No, it's going to 10,000. And it's not an investment. It's just reality that the dollar is going to go to zero. It's not the lead currency anymore. It's not the petrodollar anymore. They're going to the ruble and the yuan. Saudi Arabia is already giving it to them. So forget the U.S., the Saudis and the Russians and the Chinese have the money. And believe me, the Chinese are way in debt. They need gold to go up. And if they need gold to go up, it's going up. All right, everybody. Have a great day. And I will talk to you tomorrow morning around 11-ish Eastern time in Detroit. Okay, thank you very much. I hope you learned something, and feel free questions and comments. That's why I'm doing it live, for the questions and comments. All right, take care.